So I did a little AMA today, and I figured instead of like, because it was super late when I did it, and I figured instead of like figuring out which questions I'll answer and collecting them, because I have it put out on a couple other things, I figured I'd answer the one that kind of stuck out to me, and hopefully I have something good to say here. Because I didn't think about it. Like, the other questions I did the last time, I kind of saw them and then thought about them as I was, like, writing them down or whatever. But, so, oh, fuck, I didn't even write the dude's name. So, sorry if I'm not shouting you out. I could look it up real quick, I guess. Let me look it up and give you the shit. Or I could sing the fucking Dudes on Vacation song really quick to you and make you feel real nice. Or make some shit up like this song right here that you wouldn't want to hear any other day of the week. Hold on, I got the fucking thing right here. Sorry. See, I'm a poet. I didn't fucking know it, dude. Okay, AMA. Where you at? Nope, not on there. Not that one. Hold on. I know you're fucking sitting there in anticipation. Okay. This is from Eric Darby. And he asked, what's something you'd change about your podcast or products if you could go back? I'm one of those people that don't like to fucking think about going back. It's not that I'm like, oh, I don't want to think about that. It's just like, you know, I feel like personally everything leads you to where you need to be. I don't think there's something that is like an overall plan that's like in place. I'm not a very religious person per se. I don't know what guides everything, or if there's even a guidance for everything. Do we create these wakes like the butterfly effect? So I don't really sit there and go like, man, if I could go back, and with all the knowledge I know, I could fucking, I could wreck shop or some shit like that. It's just, I may be used to fucking say that kind of shit. Like, if I could only go back, man, and fucking, I could fix things. If I could go back in time. But I don't know, because I feel like I'm supposed to be in a certain place, regardless if I want to be or not. And it's all this shit that I've created, or I'm going through, or bad times, good times. It's all like, I don't even necessarily think it's there for a reason. I think it's, you just have things that happen and you adapt to them and use them as experience to, guide future generations. You can pass that knowledge on about, shit that you didn't like about life and things you did, so that we create better humans along the way. Better Zetons, because I'm not a human like you. But so this long-winded answer, I don't think I would change anything. But for the sake of this question, let me focus on the podcast. I would absolutely remove episode 1 through 10, because like maybe not 1. 1 was the first one, and that was like Mark was on there, and that's like a pretty popular episode. I think it's one of our most popular episodes because it's 1, and people just go like, let me see what that's like. And it's a weird thing, because if you listen to the episodes now, they're like, it's a fucking completely different thing, like a completely different podcast. And episodes 1 through 10 don't represent anything about the podcast now. It's weird to like even think about what I was doing on them, because I was literally just figuring shit out, which is what has been my entire business and my fucking entire existence as an entrepreneur or doing this podcast. I figure shit out. I try to figure out what I want to do with things, and I'm never satisfied, and like I'm always moving shit around in the fucking studio, and I'm always like coming up with a new idea for something, and I'm always like buying new camera equipment that eventually I put somewhere, and I'm like, man, I fucking bought all this shit, and like I have a drone I bought that just I've used 3 times, and like, you know, I think if anything I would, you know, I would have to say, like, you know, just for shits and giggles, I would remove episodes 1 through 10, and I would just start doing the wacky shit that we started doing with fucking Bear Court. Which was like, you listen to episode fucking 10 and 11 is completely fucking, it's not even in the same fucking galaxy or zip code or anything. It's like, you know, so, but it all builds. It's like it all builds to something. So, you know, me as a creative type and me as like this person that's just, you know, pushing stuff forward, I have to have those fucking little things that I don't like that I learn from, right? Like, you've got to have all these things that just sucked and you build upon or you liked, and you know that, you know, you take the good and the bad and you figure out the shit. So I need essentially shit like the early episodes, to get to where I'm figuring it out, which honestly right now I haven't figured shit out, because it's a constant discussion about like, what am I doing with the podcast? Am I, you know, like I ask you guys and, you know, a Q&A, and I'll put out little polls, and it's people tell me their opinion about stuff, and it's like, okay, so I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, right? Like, I'm just being myself. I'm putting this fucking wacky side, these little different things that I talk about with my friends, and I'm putting it out there. And, you know, so it's a hard question, but it's a good one, right? Like, this is the one that I focus on before I collect all the other ones, that we do another one of these, because people seem to like the Ask Me Anything things. So to answer the question, I don't think I would go back. Like, me sitting here talking to you, I don't think I would go back and change it. But the other side of my brain would say that I would go remove episodes 1 through 10, and I would just start doing the wacky shit. You know, and like, that's what I would do. As far as like the other stuff I do, I've wasted a lot of money on things thinking that this is what I wanted. You know, and that's part of it, is tax deductions. You just write that shit off on your taxes and you move on. You just keep going. I spend a lot of money on stuff trying to experiment with products and whatnot. And so maybe if I could go back, you know, maybe I'd be more frugal on some of the stuff that I spend money on. But then again, that all builds to where I am today, right? To where the podcast is, where all the other shit is. It's, you know, it's not an easy question to like, if you actually think logically, oh, if I could go back, I would fucking totally do this. You know, because essentially you have all the answers in the future. So it's weird. Like, yeah, I would go back for sure and not spend as much on this stuff and not blow money on this, and maybe some of the relationships I have that I understand now that were like shit, I would remove. But if I did that, then things would be different. Maybe I wouldn't be in the place I am. Maybe I wouldn't be as, you know, doing as good as I am. Maybe, you know, mentally I'd be in a worse place because I didn't have that stressor of a fucking shit human being in my existence. And, you know, so, you know, if I could be honest about the question, to summarize it, I wouldn't fucking go back. I wouldn't go back and change anything, because all the heartbreak, all of the bullshit I've done that didn't benefit me at all at the time, all of the wasted cash, you know, and capital on dumb ideas, got me to where I understand what I need to do at this current phase of my life, you know. So I hope that answers your question.